Kirk here. I'm at Fisherman's Wharf, and I've decided that what I'm going to do is a couple times a week I'm going to interview some of the more interesting fishermen and characters that inhabit this crazy place. This is where the magic happens for the seafood industry in San Francisco, all the way around here. Okay, we got John Miller. He's offloading his crabs the high-tech way.
Just a short circuit away from the good old days.
That's right. All right, I'm walking along. And this is Sarah's boat. Let's go see if Sarah's around. And we'll go down the ladder here. Looks like she's working in the engine room. All right. I'm here with Sarah Bates, and we're on board the Bounty, which is a salmon tropper in San Francisco Bay. And we're here in the galley, sitting at the table. And I'm just going to introduce you guys to Sarah and ask her some questions that I think might be interesting concerning the salmon fishery and what Sarah does for a living. So, hi.
Hi, Kirk.
Try not to make. I want to feel stiff. I want to feel loose, like we're actually just talking.
You're going to edit this shit out.
Yeah, I'm going to edit the shit out of this.
Okay, great.
Tell us what you fish for and why.
I fish for salmon. Mostly I fish for salmon because I have a salmon boat, and I have a salmon permit, and I have experience fishing salmon. And fishing for salmon it continues to be fun even when it's not extremely lucrative.
How did you start fishing?
I met somebody at a party who needed a deckhand. And then
That wasn't Dave, was it?
That was Dave.
Okay.
Yep.
Dave of the Blind Faith.
Yep.
Another boat that's docked here in the city.
It's actually docked right next to me right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he took me on a couple fishing trips in Bolinas in the fall, which is pretty much the best fishery ever. There's not a lot of fish that time of year in Bolinas, but the fish that are there are big and they're really fun to catch. And it was the biggest fish I'd ever had on the end of a line, and it was really exciting. And then a whole bunch of other stuff just didn't work out, and then I don't know. I ended up here.
Had you done a lot of fishing before that?
No. I fished with my dad as a kid, trout but no, I'd never ocean fished in my life. I had lived in California for only a couple of years at that point, and I actually didn't realize that there were active fishing boats at Fisherman's Wharf still. I thought it was a quaint place to get T-shirts and saltwater taffy.
Right. It's a T-shirt mall.
Yeah, T-shirt wharf.
Well, in your opinion, what's the status of the fishery right now? I noticed that you said that it's hard to make money at it.
We just did not. There were not very many fish out there last year to catch.
Which is why the price was so high.
Which is why that is a classic supply and demand question.
Yeah, right.
Last year, I think the numbers are that we only caught 55,000 fish in the entire state of California last year, which is extremely low. It's one of the lowest in recent history, except for our complete closures in 2008, 9, and partial closure in 2010.
Right.
It's not like we're going out there and over harvesting at a whim. The reason that our seasons are so short this year are because the scientists look at the numbers and they decide, well, this is the number of fish that we need to allow up the rivers in order to maintain a population, and this is the leftovers that the commercial and recreational fleets can harvest from the ocean, and this is the number that you can harvest from the rivers, because there's a significant recreational in-river fishery.
And the native fishery too.
And the tribal fisheries, which are in-river commercial. And all that's highly enforced. We have to count every single fish.
Right.
So, it's not like we're going out there to catch the last fish. We're going out there to catch fish number 156,001. Because there's 156,000 fish that have already been put aside as the breeding population for the next 3-year cycle.
But it's kind of like the 500-pound gorilla in the room to not mention the fact that, like, you're the only woman captain that I see here at the wharf. If there were women that were actually interested in pursuing a career as a fisherwoman, what do they do? How do they get involved?
I mean, I guess here's what I would say. The fishing community is comprised overwhelmingly of white men. And it's comprised overwhelmingly of white men that grew up with some other connection to the fishing community. And I think that unless you grew up with that and with the idea that it was something that was accessible, that it never occurs to most people that earning a living by going out into the ocean by yourself is really an option. I mean, I certainly never thought about it until it was just right in front of my face, and I was like, oh, well, you know. But it's like many things in life. You don't really you're not really looking at the entire spectrum of your options. You're looking at the narrow slice of options that are right in front of you and that have been shown to you as appropriate or profitable. And I think that there's a lot more opportunity for people to get involved in fishing. You know, the fleet is mostly gray-haired.
Yes.
You know, it's like young people don't think of it as really a good option for a career, but you know, there's just in general more of an emphasis on getting an education and getting a desk job. You know, I think most women don't think of it as an option because there's just so many dudes.
Can you tell what you love about doing this? Like,
I mean, it doesn't matter how many times you've done it, or it does not matter. It doesn't matter who you are. Like having a fish on the end of a string is this like ancient feeling that goes back thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah.
You know, pulling something out of the ocean is still like this incredible, magical little rush of satisfaction and accomplishment that you're feeding people, that you're harvesting food, and in a certain way, you become. I mean, especially on these small boats, you can feel your place within the ecosystem and food chain. Like we get tossed around on the ocean a lot. We do not feel big and strong out there. You know, the ocean is big, and so to a certain extent, you can really feel your smallness and your place in the whole thing. And there's just there's a big sense of accomplishment in feeding people and supplying healthy, high quality, delicious food to people. And the independence is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. I mean, actually, that's not true. I have to do a lot of things that I don't want to do, but I also decide to do them. You know.
Master of your own fate until the ocean says otherwise.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I certainly don't feel in control.
That's interesting.
But there's nobody else who tells me what time to come to work in the morning.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I'm gonna go over there and that thing's on, because
Yeah.
it's gonna really suck if that thing is off.
This isn't